So here we are with Conway's Game of Life, and we're looking at a very simple oscillator pattern. As before, the way we're doing this, we're showing the intergenerational states as well as the generational states. So for each generation we show green as being alive and black as being dead. For the intergenerational states, if a cell's alive and it's going to stay alive, it first fades from green to cyan, and then from cyan back to green again. If a cell is alive and it's going to die, it fades from green to red and then red to black. And if a cell is dead but it's going to come alive, it fades from black to yellow and then yellow to green. One thing I should point out actually here is that I'm only running the LEDs at 5% of their possible brightness, because anything higher pretty much washes the camera out. But in the real world, if you run them to 100%, it looks gloriously colourful. So how did we get to this simple oscillator state? What we are doing in this experiment is to load the array with a random set of cells that are going to come to life and then see what happens. And I've found that if you populate the array with too few cells, then very quickly everything dies out due to underpopulation. If you populate the array with too many cells, like say 85 or 90% of the array is filled, everything dies out pretty much within 1 or 2 generations because of overpopulation. So the value I've come down to now is to populate the array with about 15% of the cells coming to life and see what happens. And what we're going to do now is to reload the array and see how we got to this particular pattern. So we're loading the array now. Just takes a few seconds, bear with me. So here's our first initial pattern coming to life. There they are alive. Very quickly this particular permutation fades and dies. Here's another random assortment, and very quickly again this one heads out for the unknown. Now this third one, again randomly generated, is more interesting. And I'm going to just let you watch this as it evolves and eventually ends up with the oscillator that we saw before. As you can see, we're homing in on the final oscillator. It amazes me that with Conway's Game of Life you can get so much sophistication using so few and so simple rules. And I think you can assume that we're going to be seeing a lot more experiments with this sort of thing in the future. So until then, I'll see you next time.